Why do they gotta start you off like that?
That's how the video starts. I expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. If you are a man that I'm interested in, I want to see that you can provide for me. I want to see that you can afford an Uber ride. I want to see that you can afford a nice dinner date. Like, can you afford basic things? Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house. You certainly can't afford my bills. And I got bills to pay. Okay?
Period. Period.
I totally agree.
Period.
I drive, but
When
the
you
rest
say
of
you
it,
have bills to pay, what do you mean?
I pay my own rent. I have I have 2 apartments of my own.
2 apartments?
And
Same
one in,
city or different?
No, one in New York, one in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, like light bills, and then not even that. Like, I need to get my nails done. I need to get my hair done. I need to get my feet done.
Just maintenance bills.
I need, like Brazilian waxes. Like, I have things to pay for, and like if I'm gonna be dating you, like, fork it over. Like,
And is that something that you are more, I mean, it sounds like from the get-go, first date, right in, he should be paying.
yes.
Get you an Uber for the date, pay for the first date, etc. Does he have to get an Uber or can he pick you up?
He can pick me
Okay.
up, but a lot
they-
of them have said, I'll just send you an Uber, because they don't want to drive. I don't know why.
And so you're fine with either he sends you an Uber, pays for it, or picks you up?
Yeah.
Okay. And then has to pay for the first date, and then I assume like second date, third date, continue paying. And so currently you said you got about 5 guys on your roster. Are they all, when you're going on a date with them, or when you did go on the first date, they're paying, getting you the Uber? Is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, last night I went on a 3rd date with this guy, and he always picks me up. So he picked me up last night, went to a movie, got some popcorn, slushies, and then he dropped me back, and that was our date.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
he paid for it?
Everything.
Now,
Girl,
the video that we just reacted to went super viral. I know you said there's a bunch of other ones that you've had a bunch that went viral, and we actually got a few, so we're gonna try to get through all of them. Oh, not yet.
Can I comment on that video? So your question.
I'll be right back, but go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Your comment was basically saying that men should pay for the date.
Yeah.
Right? I think I've heard Brian said before that he disagrees with that. I'm not sure. Probably could clear the air. But I totally agree. Because, I mean, I always see dating as the man needs to be doing an investment in his love life. Right? If you're not willing to pay for the date and invest in your love life, even if it falls through, then you're not willing to invest in things that really matter in the long run. So that's why I really believe that when I go on a date, they need to be the ones paying, because you're dating, If I want to pay, then I'll just go with a friend. Like, what's the difference?
Right. And I feel like a lot of women these days, they're like, oh, let me be nice and let me try to pay for half and he'll respect me more. Sis, he don't respect you more.
Nothing
Like,
be
you're
friends.
just wasting your money and your time at this point.
Nothing can make you less.
And like, are
romantic.
men ever shy in trying to push your boundaries and trying to get you to go further than you want to go when you're dating them? No,
Right.
they're not shy about that, because they know what they want. They know what they're investing in this for.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, so if they're not shy about it, I'm not going to be shy about it.
I feel like I have a little bit different of a perspective because I'm younger. I don't expect a guy to have the money to pay. Like, being the age that I am, like, I don't expect them to have the money to pay for everything that I need. Like, I absolutely think a man should pay on a date. Maybe, I don't know. I just think first date, it doesn't matter that much to me, because if I were the guy in that situation, I wouldn't want to just blow money for it to fall through. I think time is worth investing in, but not money.
Those same men, though, when you're on that date, have no problem asking you to come over and asking you to give up your business. So, I mean, you go on this park date, and then they ask you to come over, and now what? They've gotten exactly what they've wanted of you, and you've received what?
Yeah.
Not anything except for a request for
my view of sex, it's an equal value exchange.
Nope, it's not. It's
not.
for men.
We receive.
Sex is for men?
Especially when
I don't know
when you
about
just said they don't want to go down, you don't want to go down on a woman, then what is she really getting? Like,
She's going to come.
are you sure she
senses
didn't lie?
and leave.
Are you sure she was like, oh
ain't
yeah,
faking it.
I'm
To her
satisfied,
senses.
and be
She's
like,
gonna come
girl,
to her senses.
I was so upset, he didn't even finish. Like, I don't know. I just feel like men benefit more from sex than women do. Yes,
Disavow.
women can enjoy sex for sure.
Erroneous.
Women can enjoy sex, but the men are benefiting from sex for sure.
Disagree. First, well, okay.
What do we
we
benefit
can talk
from
about
sex?
the orgasm gap. So it certainly is the case that,
Okay.
well, we can get into details, but there is the argument that men are more likely to orgasm, especially if it's like a casual encounter, that men are more likely to climax under those circumstances than the woman is. However, I would say my counter to that would be women are multi-orgasmic. So if a guy comes once, some women, they be coming like 3, 4, 5 times. Mm-hmm. So now it's really interesting though. I feel like men's climax or orgasm response is very almost typical. I mean, there's some variance, but it's pretty, whereas for women, it's getting a girl to climax from one woman to the next could be very different. Mm-hmm. Like some women can come like real, like insane, and they're multi-orgasmic. They come in 10 seconds, they can keep coming. And then other women, it can take a long while. And then there's some women who, despite best efforts, even themselves, there's some women that if they're masturbating or whatever, they just have a really difficult time, or they can't even make themselves climax, which is, I think for men is pretty unheard of. So,
but what's the majority?
What do you mean? Of women?
Of women, what's more seen?
I think, at least from my experience, it's certainly,
they struggle.
I would say when I'm talking about like women who are super multi-orgasmic and come really quick, that's pretty low percentage.
Okay.
Probably less than 10%, but
Look
women that can come, I'd say that's, 80%, I want to say. At least in my experience, like I've got a pretty good track record of.
You have a lot of experience.
I'm not saying that, but I'm a man of God. But like, I'll
Lord
say
have
this:
mercy.
like my whole thing with sex, even if it's, I'm not really interested in casual sex. Like, I don't like one night stands. Like, if I sleep with a girl, I want there to be a continuity. I want to continue seeing her, because otherwise, for me, it's a waste of time. What's the point?
Okay.
So, my experience though is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about.
If you were very experienced,
We're talking about sex.
Yeah.
Oh,
orgasms,
yeah.
experienced.
Oh no. So what I was gonna say is like my whole thing is I want to make the girl come before me.
That's important for sure.
Yeah.
I like to make her
For
come
you.
before me. So whether that's
But I feel like
hands,
no
toys,
one's-
whatever.
I feel like no one's really taking into account the reason why we have sex. Like this is why it's like such a point thing. It's not just the pleasure, right? Like
procreation.
Yeah, procreation. That's the
Yeah.
reason why sex happens, right? And so let's say we take the risk and we do have sex. The only person who has to deal with it once the condom
fair.
breaks is
Period.
me.
That's fair.
Like you can choose to be there or not be there. You can choose to be part of me taking the day after or not. If I decide to have the kid, you can choose to be part of it. And
Yeah.
I, no matter what, once I let you enter me, I'm now obligated. And I'm thinking about that from the very moment that I even agree
Yeah,
to be
for sure.
around you.
Same.
Because it can happen now that I'm around you. And so I feel like that's what I feel like a lot of people are not taking into account. You said they're talking about sex, who's it good for, who's it not for. At the end of the day, the only person who has to worry about at the end of the day is me, the person with the uterus.
I agree with you on the point of pregnancy. Obviously, that's something exclusively that women could potentially encounter from a sexual encounter. But if we're talking, like, let's assume the context here is, there's not obviously, well,
Every time there's a risk.
yes, but let's say like the intention is not to get pregnant. Maybe the woman's on birth control.
Who's really
But
intending to
that's
get
the
pregnant?
point. That's the
Besides
point. That's
married
the
people.
That's the
but
point.
if we're talking about
We don't not think about that.
But if we're talking about, because there's often this trope of, well, only men are getting value from sex in the form of pleasure, but like what I was trying to argue there is that, well, actually women also get the pleasure too.
I agree with that.
pleasure for sure, but she was talking about the benefit of the outcome.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You guys can get that and be satisfied. We don't get that and just be satisfied.
Yeah.
We get that and want more.
I'm not satisfied with just that.
With
no.
the nut?
No.
You get the nut?
Yeah,
I want
no.
my bills
And
paid.
plus, I don't even
want
want
the bills
that.
paid.
You know what?
got the
Nothing
bills, you gotta get the bills
nothing
paid.
You
makes
want
me
sex,
hornier.
I want money.
Nothing makes me hornier than
But
you taking
hold on,
care of
wait.
me.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
Repeat that.
Just repeat that. for
Okay.
us.
You want sex, I want money.
I think there's a term for that. Hold on.
Wow.
What's the
Is
term?
that
Sugar daddy?
prostitution?
No.
Oh.
I'm not
Wow.
having sex
So
for
just
money,
so-
guys. To be
just because
clear,
you
I'm
don't
not
have a
having
name-
sex for money.